So I just got out of prison. For those of y'all that don't know, I spent the last 19 months locked up in the UK. And a lot of you guys wanted a story time, so I'm gonna give it to you. So these guys had approached me on Instagram and were like, oh, do you want to make some money? So I was like, of course. So they were like, all you gotta do is fly to the UK and pick up a suitcase that's already at the airport. And I was like, that sounds easy. Honestly, I just wanted to go to make content because the flight and everything was paid for. So I was like, I'm gonna make vlogs, like I'm gonna do TikToks, all that stuff. I really didn't care too much about the task itself. I was there for other reasons. The bags were not in my name. I did not check anything in. At the time, I had a friend that was staying with me. I'm not gonna say her name, but if you know, you know. She was like, oh, I'm gonna go with you. And I was like, okay. Like, I didn't even really want her to come with me, but I wasn't gonna deny somebody the opportunity to make money. So I was like, all right. Mind you, the guys did say that I could invite girls for the next trip that they were gonna do. And I did text some girls. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a liar, so I'm gonna just be honest about everything. I did text some girls like, oh, do you wanna come to the next trip? But this friend that came with me, I did not invite her. Just keep that in mind. On May 31st, 2024, I flew out to the UK. So we're on the plane and I get this like really weird feeling inside. Mind you, I had just gotten like baptized a month prior. So I was feeling kind of guilty inside, you know? When I was on the plane, I pray to God and I'm like, God, if I'm not supposed to be doing this, please prevent me from doing it. So when I landed and I got to the passport checkpoint, they're like, oh, what hotel are you staying at? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I'm here for modeling. Like, these guys booked my hotel. I don't know what the hotel name is. So they were like, go sit over there. So I felt like that was my sign from God that I shouldn't do it. So at that point, I was already like feeling nervous and stuff. So I texted the guys and I was like, low key, like, I don't even want to do this anymore. They were like, that's fine. Just go to the hotel. But the girl that I was with, I don't know what she told them, but she went through, she left me. So at this point, I'm waiting on the side, she's already gone. So she ends up picking up a suitcase and she like delivered it to the people she was supposed to deliver it to. And she met me at the hotel like an hour or two after she did that. So then she comes back to the hotel, she wants to take a nap, so we both take a nap together. 3 hours later, our hotel room is being raided by the police and we're getting arrested. We get arrested on a Friday and I'm thinking by Monday we're gonna be out. So on Monday, we see the judge and he's like, do you plead guilty or not guilty? And I'm like, not guilty because I didn't even do anything. I didn't touch no drugs. I didn't like. So he's like, okay, like you're going to have to go to trial and we're going to give you your trial date in 4 weeks on July 8th. So I'm like, at this point, I start crying because I'm like, nah, I cannot be in here for 4 weeks. Like, I got to go home. Like, I'm innocent. How y'all going to hold me against my will for 4 weeks? Whatever. At that point, they take me to prison and I went to HMP Newhall. So fast forward, July 8th comes. They're like, okay, your trial date is set for October 28th, 2024. And I'm like, there's absolutely no way I'm going to stay in here for another 3 months. Like, this is crazy. So boom, now it's October. They transferred me to a different prison called HMP Style. In my case, there was like 7 people. I didn't know the other people. I only knew the friend that came with me. Mind you, I had never asked what was in the suitcases, like, because I genuinely did not care. I'm the type of person, like, if I know something and I think it's bad, it's gonna eat at my conscience, you know? So I was like, I'd rather not know. But I think deep down in my head, I just thought it was weed or something. But it turns out it was cocaine. So I'm like, what the hell? Like, I've never done coke a day in my life. Like, I'm not a coke dealer. Like, I would never do something like that. At this point, it makes the case so much bigger because, like, if you smuggle weed into the UK, most people get out within 4 months. But since it was cocaine, like, we were looking at like 10 plus years. So trial comes and they basically forced us to plead guilty because they were like, if not, you're looking at 14 to 15 years. And I was like, I can't be here for that long. So I told them that I was like, okay, I'm gonna plead guilty to coming over here with the intent to do something, but I didn't do it. So I'm just letting that be known, but I'm guilty of the intent, yes. So after trial, they were like, okay, you guys are gonna get sentenced in February. So we wait till February comes. At that point, the girl that came with me, she took a plea deal with the cops and she told them that I recruited her. You know, you invited yourself. Like, I did not want you to come on this trip. She had used my messages against me because there was messages of me texting other girls on Instagram saying like, do you want to come? So she made it seem as if she was one of those girls, but there was no phone evidence or anything like that of me asking her if she wanted to come on this trip. So yeah, she basically like threw me under the bus and did me dirty. So because of that, they thought I was like a recruiter, like a freaking like ringleader or something. So they put me significant role. So at this point, I'm getting done so dirty because my lawyer is also representing her as well, which is a conflict of interest. Like, he's not even supposed to do that. But the whole time he's telling me like, don't worry, she's not going to throw you under the bus, blah, blah, blah. Sir, she did. And what are you going to do about it? Nothing. He did nothing. February comes, we get sentenced. They give me 11.8 years. I'm like, bro, what? They end up giving her 4 years. And she ended up getting out 2 months after we got sentenced. So I'm like, bro, no fucking way. Mind you, 6 months prior, she had gotten arrested in New York for the same thing. So it's like she had prior convictions of this same stuff, but she's over here trying to say that I recruited her. Like, girl, you've been doing this way before me. This was my first time doing something like this. So anyways, she gets out back in like May, and they're over here telling me like your earliest release date is 2027. And I'm like, ain't no way I'm staying here till 2027. I'm writing like letters to Trump, to the White House. Nobody's getting back to me. I'm over here texting like everybody I know, like, please help me get out of prison. At the time, the UK prison systems were so full. They were at 99% capacity. So originally you only have to serve 50% of your sentence, but then they changed it to 40%. Then like months later, they changed it to 30%. And then finally, by the grace of God, the law passed and they said foreign nationals need to be automatically deported because we don't have no space here for them. So they recalculated my sentence in September and they said I was time served. So by the time they were looking for flights for me, they were like, oh, your passport is expired, so we need to get you an emergency passport. So it took like 3 weeks to get an emergency passport. And then they told me, they're like, your flight is booked for December 3rd. So December 3rd, they escorted me to the airport. They gave me a little debit card with $1,500 on it, because apparently if you agree to get deported from the UK, they give you $1,500 as an incentive to leave their country. So I got a debit card and they took me to the gate, watched me get on my flight, and I came home. They did keep my phone though, like I didn't get that back. And I didn't get back all the stuff I got arrested with. Like I took my camera to vlog, I took my Beats headphones, all my clothes, like everything. They still have it. Like they did not give that stuff back to me. But it wasn't so bad. Like I don't have to serve any time here in America. Thank God. I served 19 months. Everything worked out in my favor. But at the end of the day, if you're out here lying on my name, saying things that aren't true, or trying to use my story as your own story, knowing damn well you did what you did, just know God don't like ugly. And I got all the proof, all the legal papers with everybody's testimonies, all the pictures of everybody's involvement. And even though I'm not going to air anybody's business out or anything like that, just know that I forgave the girl that did what she did. We're no longer friends anymore. If you know her, you know her. If she's out here in these streets talking shit about me, y'all know I'm not a bad person. I've already heard so many things of the things that she's been saying out there in LA about me. I don't care. That's my old life. I'm here, I'm out. By the grace of God, I get to spend Christmas and New Year's with my family. I did spend the last 2 birthdays in prison, my 25th and my 26th, but oh well. At least I didn't have to spend 11 years locked up. So yeah. Anyway, shout out to all my other co-defendants. I'm glad y'all are all home. Much love. We did that. Okay, bye.